I will never do anything to destroy MP. Now, from 1992, when was say body and soul, or dini sika, na who den, nim dear, abwa MPP party, a check Canadian Japan. And the messer, me, the way I see MPP. My last point, they will come and tell you, oh, give us a second chance. Because President Kufuor went 2 times. Akufo-Addo went 3 times. But because they want to deceive you, Edubuahin went only once. Why are they not mentioning Edubuahin's name? Because when Edubuahin did not perform well, they didn't give him second chance. But from 6.something million votes, you reduce it by 2.1 million votes. And now you want a second chance. It means he's asking you to stay in opposition for 12 years. If that is what you are, even this 9 months, you see how we are sweating? You see, 9 months, you see how you are sweating? So you can imagine if somebody tells you, give me another chance, and it will take you to the next 12 years. So I'm begging you. It's the truth. I have to tell you the truth. When we are in Salaga market, they will tell you, if you bring Kennedy Japan, we are going to vote for you. When we are in the bus, they will tell you, if you bring Kennedy Japan, we will vote for you. Beer bar, bring Kennedy Japan, we will vote for you. Chop bar, bring Kennedy Japan, we will vote for you. What else do we want? Do we just want a flag bearer who will go and lose? Or we want a flag bearer who can win?
Kukurudu. Now, Ushe party media a Juma me ye wa party me by the last 16 years. Me de me hon abo afore ama party. 208 na me wo Bank of Ghana na me ye omo penny governor no Abedi Chiri. Penny no Abedi Chiri, deputy governor of Bank of Ghana. Ena na Akufo-Addo befre me. O se mimbe ye na Abedi Chiri. Sa amre no na President Kufuor ebedi 8 years. Na nipa bebre cast chire me say, mami njai me ejuma no na mimbe ye running mate. Omo say no party a breaking 8 no. Enti me ba yendi nkunim, but me kanchire omo say President Kufuor ena appointing me deputy governor. Enti MPP here say me ba abeboa na yenya letimi di nkunim a mentimi nkase member. Enti me resigning me job ewo Bank of Ghana elbe ye running mate of the MPP. Me ba ye yendi nkunim. So me hwehwe ejuma foforo me benya ejuma ewo African Development Bank. Omo de me ko Zimbabwe se me nkoye omo penyi ewo Zimbabwe. Me was Zimbabwe ena 2012 beduye ena Nana Akufo-Addo sambaye o say minjai na membrefi na membeye na Abedi Chiribium for 2012 election. Ye president of African Development Bank Opamecho o say maminjai jumano. Ofre President Kufuor se onemin kasa se maminjai jumano emba Ghana bium. But me kanchiro mo say since a party no ehia me se membra mbeboa de minti me kasa member me resign ye ena me samba ye ena me be ye ejuma as running mate ye ba ye munyina anim se NDC for omuko wie mo ewo 2012 eninti ye ndi nkunim so ye call Supreme Court semokai you and I were not there. Mina me kodi adanse ye ema party no star witness. Mina me ye pink sheet no so me lead team no na ye pink sheet no ejuma no me call Supreme Court eko di adanse eko defendi party no pa yan di nkunim but ye kire Ghana fo nyina se ye na ye wini 2012 election no ye wie misimu me ka se minko baby abium metna Ghana na ma bo campaign no me call lecture after lecture after lecture me the pressure egu NDC for so me country Nana Akufo-Addo say 2016 election yidie me pese ojai John Mahama emma me na me no yenko boot for 2016 election.
Me ka se nka yema obi a wasum party no da me de me feel say omo esum party na omo odobi ma party no omo risk especially from 1992 omo de ho abafore into ono no nye sika no na besesa no and a presidential elections nipa ne dɔɔso a sika no san na ade be ma no besesa na hyebre wa ma no an 200 300 400 500 and when se nipa hyebre will be tam 50,000 ma na and there ebetimi a confuse you ti na me ka say super delegates no yenyin free o me da party as say omo team ase with when na me feel say senkema all the former polling station executives ade so her party in say polling stations me agina secretary me the book bi by say me pese ye hwe party no article 3 na talks about membership ese tem bia na ye review membership na afi so mu ye meetings party no ye nya meetings ye twa elections beba na ye beto aba na nipa bi di America we a polling station executive no adwuma ne say obeto aba o we adwuma ne say una be lead the party's advocacy e wo ba bia o no nti sen kola enyini ye be register on posters one MPP ni one MPP ni one na obetimi convince ye mu adwuma na ekoba ne say party no any source adwuma no nti ye say ye to aba mo am ye say adwuma mo na mbeto ene ye frem delegates afede o mo refi o mo adwuma na da o mani so no ene o mo frem o delegates ma and say interview akola because o nyina obey MPP delegate. There is no such position as delegate in the party's constitution anyhow. So na koba no say anya presidential no kra ya na hu o parliamentary no say parliamentary no a restricted area be a nipa 1,500 enti obi timi so was wato TV 1,000 na wache the next day will be at of fridge 1,000 no wakoche also Kumasi and Ghana nyina yet communal houses me MPP ni also MPP ni just that way a polling station executive ukoba now the TV aba ukoba wo de ntoma bre oye ukoba wo de fridge aba na me yesu ko hwe wo yiri nkwan mu a enam na edi afurusa ne ehruhu mu obehwem say na kwabran wo party no uka ho edru se wo koto aba afi osi ye nyina nkoye adwuma na ohwe onim din eno no 2 million na anto aba amaye no e ka ho kese pa you na mi aka so be ye no eye de na ra wo be ye you na mi aka so be ye no eye de na ra be yo oni bank to me say mo kwai aside from to me say no kwai you na mi aka so be ye no eye de na ra wo be ye free sound oni bank to me say mo kwai aside from to me say no kwai you na mi aka so be ye no eye de na ra wo be ye
me say ade a wusua ehun adwuma pɛ enye den a nkwara betimi enye adwuma pa engineering enti saade ame di sika anya me aboa me amenya e wa America ho no ene me namfofo mbeboa me ama metimi ye saade no me dey share engineers 130 medical doctors 20 na me say me yo happy enso no the one na ekono nkwara ni we COVID time na ndo mo call UMAT afia bi nka no mo ya duasa baako mfie na yachi sankola duasa baako no omu nyina graduate a mo ye 31 engineers as abere omo obosomhwe omu wie no me no mo kwa asori ene etwa photo we aha de omu bia matu ye bedu bechem ni be hia mo ho bitumra no ma kire usie se me kan kire o me president a constituency bia afi bia de nkwara wo ha ebe ko engineering school de nkwara aduonu ebe ko medical school a na ye bi edu omamu ni nyina so betimi adan aye
unim dia natural resources is a curse ebeku ebeduwa anu ana do be ko asamado
Visa contest in shots here. One-on-one, my opportunity and meet aspirant me, you are the best. God bless you.
This is the doing of the Lord. My eyes have seen the goodness of the Lord. I can't explain His mercies every day. Testimonies all around. This is the doing of the Lord. This is the doing of the Lord. My eyes have seen the goodness of the Lord. I can't explain His mercies every day. Testimonies all around. This is the doing of the Lord. Hallelujah. How can I explain?
Citizens have to be told what to do. We have to put a stop. And so we have to put a stop to the situation. Galamsey, halt it for 90 days. Stop it. Everybody should stop mining in this country, regardless of the financial consequences. We have to agree that for the next 90 days, I'm not talking about even a state of emergency, 90 days, rainy season, let's clear our water bodies, let's engage how we go back to mining. If tomorrow I want to put up polls that put myself ahead of others, I'm sure that I can have some friendly posters do same for me. They do not concern me. Most of these polls are psychological operations on the system, totally meaningless. I don't intend to sponsor polls in my favor. I'm sure that you shouldn't be in any doubt that if I wanted to, I could.
Flag bearers, you are known so very so I know you can pay.
When I got just so very.
Is you to you know that I did chance you say circle for.
But to do a circle for but to who sir.
Oh, yeah.
Who sir?
You was a Angola as one, Penibu and as one. No, Kirin was so very so still.
Debbie. Okay, no, yes, we didn't couldn't.
You will go for me to for grass or down for say, I dear who come more, no by your cousin.
But how many payakada? How many payakada?
Oh, as I go, I know you would have
no bayakasi.
Countless examples are. Actually, say, I'm on foot to me, mamma, fake fans, say, wow, show, you know, mirror, now show one. Well, to Musa, the own say a president.
Mayor on this survey president.
We will call to Mukase and my chair party with Indian family.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And welcome to Good Morning Ghana. Today is the 16th of October. 16th of October 2025. And as I always say, this is the day the Lord has made, and we're glad in it. We're very, very happy that God has granted us another rare privilege of returning here to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that are making the rounds in our dear country, Ghana. Once again, we say, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. My name is Audu Moro, and I'll go ahead and tell you what the newspapers are reporting on their various front pages. So I'll start with my favorite, Daily Graphic. So Daily Graphic this morning is reporting that Ghana World Bank deepen ties to support five key sectors. And there's health alert, influenza cases on the rise. That's the GHS, as Ghana Health Service, ask public to be cautious. UBA Ghana records strong performance in Q3. Rice sector can swell by 2,600%. Unlock growth with strategic investment, IFS study. Metro Lens. African finance ministers endorse gold board model. Brian Achampong calls for 90-day mining halt. Sam George accused of favoring Telecel in a $1 billion deal. Raila Odinga, former Kenyan Prime Minister, dies at 80. The Ghanaian Times. Establish Rice Development Board for active state intervention to transform sector, IFS. There's influenza outbreak. GHS calls for vigilance to curb spread. Minority leader advocates inclusion of legally binding CSR clauses in contracts. Men must take interest in breast cancer education to help combat disease. And the court discharges businessman accused in Ahmed Swaleh murder trial. Daily Guide. Minority raises red flag over AT Telecel merger. Daddy Lumba kids not into widows fight. NPP flag bearer race candidate in fierce battle. Jirapa CEO's murder. Elisha Mahama gets life in prison. The Inside newspaper. Alan unveils new party today in historic new dawn for the movement for change. There's Amilcar Cabral Ideological School mourns the passing of Comrade Abiodun Arensum Aremo. And there's Galamsey crisis. Brian Achampong calls for 90-day mining pause amid EPA warnings. Minority chases Communications Minister of alleged rejection of Redcron's $1 billion lifeline for AT. English Alata, traditional ruler, questions police inertia on Ayite Kunku killing. Corporate movement takes center stage as Africa converges in Ghana for 25th Saka Congress. Daily Post. President Mahama to host Grenada Prime Minister for bilateral talks. The Akufo-Addo government made no budget for over 13,000 nurses recruited in 2024. Akando. NPA must stay ahead of industry through innovative and capacity. That's according to the Energy Minister. And then the Business and Financial Times, UBA sustains growth momentum with strong Q3 performance. And there's Gold Board's model seen as Africa's next policy export. Ghana World Bank align on 5-pillar growth blueprint. Less than 3% of farmland devoted to rice production. Why reject $1 billion Redcron investment? Minority questions ministers alleged deal with Telecel. So yeah, that's it for the front pages of the newspapers that we have today. Please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana. Please don't go anywhere.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Chia winning Nara, me ding edge baby dapa, me dear strong cocran ebremo. Now that what we are with the ed Japan me de bremo. And no any summer spices. Summer spices in here, and we wow no bebreo. Various flavors, Ubenya a yako, Ubenya nemchi, you do good jollof muma and we get there. Ubenya ye do good quam, you do for you. Hot nako pibito, na Emma with Gianni, and yet day. When you mean ya, young con your cocoa for Eka.
Down with your communication, we all enjoy Uduba, that Samu spices.
What in the essence, no time. I'm going to get that. Samu spices in a Sabi, Daddy so say. Samu spices, Moon Samu.
Samu spices, Yama chicken.
Samu spices. Sanaka in Kitwa, mixture 10 grams. Yawa chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, can jollof, and the flavors of Bebre.
Samu spices, yes, Saka.
I'm a brand manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Brush, 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 young teeth. Brush, 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 2 times a day. Brush with Kel-Kit.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel-Kit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. It makes your teeth stronger, chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel-Kit. Happy smile.
In life, choice is good, but choice plus safety is way better. Your safety and comfort is paramount. Under the cylinder recirculation model, you can buy LPG in a safe environment. All cylinders are inspected and maintained to the best safety standards, so your safety is assured. Just take your empty cylinder to the nearest exchange point and swap it for a filled cylinder. Different cylinder sizes will be available to meet your pocket size. Imagine cooking in a smoke-free environment. This will improve the health and well-being of you and your family. Choose LPG in a safer model of distribution. Cylinder recirculation model. Securing your safety. Creating more jobs. A message from the National Petroleum Authority under the patronage of the Ministry of Energy.
Promo. Your most preferred estate partner
is giving a massive 20% discount on land sale. Yes, for our Founders Day promo, Estate Masters is offering this special discount for outright purchases up till the end of September 2025.
Purchase your tracks today.
This cuts across all our available sites, and upon purchase, you get to enjoy a free indenture and free site plan. Our site visits are also free, so rush now and secure a plot of land while this offer lasts. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
You're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Awudu Moro. One of my guests is already seated, and so we'll kickstart our conversation for the day. We have, as you do know, we have a lot to talk about today on the show. And a man who is a very revered and a very passionate representative of the people of Jirapa. Always in the business of advocating and doing everything possible to make the lives of the people better. And that's one of the things that even his own friends admire about him. I'm talking about the man who is also the Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Vice Chair, Committee of Parliament. He is the man, Cletus Seidu Dapla. And just recently, news was all over the place that he had been made the board chair of NEDCO. So he's a big man. He's massive, you know. Cletus.
Yes, bro.
Instead of saying good morning to you, I'd rather start with congratulations.
Thank you, bro.
And then now I can say good morning.
Good morning, too.
I hope you're doing very well.
Very well. How have you been?
Small.
Good.
Yeah. I would, there's something I want to say, but I'm not too sure whether I should say it. Anyway, I'll think about it. But thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me also say that there's a man who loves his students very much, and his students love him back. They like the way he teaches them. And very soon, I'm sure that he would turn out to be one of the proudest law lecturers in Ghana. He's very passionate about what he calls jurisprudence in the teaching of law. But today he's here in his capacity, not as a law lecturer, but he's here in his capacity as a member of the MPP's legal directorate. But of course, he also has an added responsibility of speaking for his party, the New Patriotic Party. And I'm talking about the man, Ishaq Ibrahim. Ishaq.
Yes, my
good
brother.
morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning to my good friend here, a member of the Legal Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament.
He's not a lawyer yet. Right? He's not a lawyer yet.
Yes,
right?
yes. I mean, he's doing quite a good job. I mean, a committee for seeing Ghana relationship with other countries, which is quite good, important. And then good morning to the good people of Ghana. And allow me an opportunity to also say good morning to the 2024 flag bearer of the MPP and the current leader of the Bawumia campaign team, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and I think they are currently in the Bono East region. I mean, there's no hidden of the fact that I support this particular branch because I believe the camp represents the best hope for the MPP winning in 2028 general election. The good people of Ghana, some of them have already expressed disappointment in the decision that they have made in 2024 by voting for this incompetent team they've turned out to be a massive disappointment when it comes to Galamsey. They're massive disappointment when it comes to maintaining the fidelity to our constitution. You already see Democratic Hope are even suing them. This is just their 9 months in parliament. They are repeated offenders against our constitution. So I believe the Bawumia campaign represents the best hope. One, he provides confidence in the ways to lead. He campaigns on issue base. And I will invite our delegates to give him overwhelming endorsement come 31st January. So that's just my appeal to members today. When we have the opportunity, I have more to say.
It looks like you have started firing the warning shots very early. But I can understand. You can't wait, eh?
I can't wait to make him a flag bearer again.
I see that you can't wait at all. But anyway, so we would, in fact, just before you came, we were playing some videos of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and some tapes of Ken Ejapon and that of Brian Champon and Dr. Yao Osei Duchum. You know, the battle appears to be fierce, as the Today's Daily Guide is reporting, and I'll read that story shortly. But I'm listening to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and he's talking about how, you know, he's contributed so much to the New Patriotic Party as somebody who was doing very well with the African Development Bank in Zimbabwe, where he was consulting, decided to return to partner Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. You know, after the 2016 elections, he went to Zimbabwe.
He went, yes.
And then,
I was aware of
after the 2008 elections. And then he came back, and then 2012, he partnered Nana Akufo-Addo. 2016 was when they were lucky, third time lucky.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how, you know, he wants to unite the party and so on and so forth. I mean, I'll pick your general thoughts about how you believe the campaign has been going so far, because it's just January, isn't it?
Yes.
January 31.
January, yes.
And we've also heard some of the things that Ken Ejapon has been saying. I don't know that you listened to that tape whilst you're on the way here.
Yes.
But he is also saying that you cannot give the mandate or the flag bearership to somebody who has dropped the party's numbers so significantly in the last elections.
Yes.
And that any attempt to re-elect that person as your flag bearer, it's like you are spelling doom for the party, and you want the party to stay in opposition for a very long time.
For a very long time.
Because that person won't be able to recover the 1.7 million votes and even overturn it and even think about winning the next elections. So I'll pick your general thoughts on that, and perhaps if Bright, if you don't mind, I guess that we can play the tape, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the Ken Ejapon's tape again after reading the story. But the Daily Guide this morning says the MVP flag bearer race candidates in fierce battle, and it says that Ernest Kofi Addo says the race for the New Patriotic Party flag bearer slot is intensifying as leading contenders step up their campaigns ahead of the party's January 31, 2026 primaries. Now, 5 prominent figures, namely Ken Ejapon, Dr. Brian Champon, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Dr. Yao Osei Duchum, and Kwabena Ejapon, are seeking to lead the party into the 2028 general elections. Dr. Brian Champon, the Member of Parliament for Abetifi, has expressed strong confidence in his campaign, dismissing claims that any party establishment could influence the outcome. Speaking to journalists in Accra, he insists that the MPP's delegates, not party elites, will decide who becomes flag bearer. There's no so-called establishment that can sway the outcome. The whole party architecture is going to vote. About 250,000 delegates, and I have made an impact on these people. It is going to be free and fair. I'm not worried about any influence from any establishment. Dr. Champon, a long-serving member of the NPP and a former Minister of Food and Agriculture, said his experience and strong connections within the party base gives him an advantage over his rivals. Former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has also intensified his grassroots mobilization drive, arguing that the NPP's 2024 electoral defeat stemmed from voter apathy rather than opposition strength. Now, speaking during the launch of his Our Journey Together campaign in the Senate East constituency of the Bono East region. Dr. Bawumia said the NPP can reclaim power if it resolves its internal issues and boosts voter participation. The NPP didn't lose because of the NDC. We lost because our people didn't turn out to vote. About 21 million supporters who voted for us in 2020 stayed away in 2024. If they had turned out, we would have won. Meanwhile, outspoken former Asin Central MP Kennedy Paul has vowed never to concede defeat in the election until the Electoral Commission officially declares the results. So it appears that it appears that things are heating up.
Yes.
Ahead of the
Definitely.
January 31 elections. Have you so far been? I know you are Bawumia,
yes,
person, but you are not representing him.
No, I'm not representing him. Yeah.
So to speak, on this platform, you are representing the party.
Yes.
Have you been generally impressed with the messages and the messaging and how the messages have been carried out so far as the aspirants crisscross the length and breadth of this country?
Of the country.
And sending
yes.
their message to the delegates, hoping that the delegates will give them, their votes.
Yeah.
What do you generally think about the messages and the messaging so far from your friends? Or the
Thank
aspirants?
you very much. I've had the opportunity to listen to the various aspirants.
Okay.
In particular, Canada Japan, I've heard his message, Bawumia, Brian Champong, Adichum and others. I'm not really sure I know exactly what they have said so far. And Canada Japan, I admire him as a person. I've had the opportunity of meeting him one time. I think it was in Tottenham when we met. I think it was a funeral or something like that, 2019. He inspired me as a person. But I couldn't disagree with him more when he said about the fact that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia had, I think some people say 39%, some people say 42%. I don't really know the figure. But
it's 41%.
For me,
officially,
it doesn't really bother me. Look at the slogan we use when we're fighting for the election. We say breaking the eight. Why do we say breaking the eight? It was simple because since 1992, no party had won more than 2 terms. So it was something that historic we're going to do for the first time. So if somebody failed to do something historic, it means that the odds were already against us. That's why we use that slogan, breaking the eight. And on this contest, can you actually just blame Bawumia for that? When we say breaking the eight, it means something something difficult we're attempting to do. So that's one. I mean, look at the general atmosphere 2023, 2024. I would probably say there was almost economic meltdown. In fact, I heard some quarters that if had not been the goal for oil program, we would have even been in much deeper trouble. How can you squarely blame that, with all honesty, on the flag bearer of the party who were not actually holding the steer? For me, I believe external exigencies affected us as much as some mistakes that we have made and we are now admitting. Like introduction of the e-levy tax. It affected us. It was a very, very unpopular tax. And if privately you had even asked the flag bearer of the MPP, of which I'm not saying he was, but I believe based on his utterances, maybe because of principle of collective accountability in cabinet, he couldn't mention it. But look at the way he was given the opportunity to speak about 2024 January, when he became the flag bearer at the UPSA auditorium. One of his first policies was to say that he was going to abolish e-levy. For me, this was an admission that this was a mistake policy, of which he himself did not appreciate and needed to go. I believe it affected our 2024 chances. And economic conditions was difficult, we must admit. E-levy. The NDC hammered us, not e-levy, Galamsey. Galamsey really, really affected us. I mean, you witnessed us coming here to the studio. Almost every day, the headlines was Galamsey. Organized labor, helped in making us even much more unpopular with the deception of the NDCs that they have the magic weapon to eradicate it within 4 months. I mean, look at all those ones. How could you squarely blame the flag bearer of the MPP at that time? For me, there was a research conducted, and that research points to certain rules, even though I don't have the privilege of reading that particular research. But the small messages we had coming from it, from people who have read it, is what we should follow. We cannot lay the blame squarely on the vice president. I have Honorable Kennedy saying that if it is him, he would never concede defeat. As I said, I like him as a person, but it was very, very disappointing. For me, I was very proud to have Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as a flag bearer who would do his own mathematics.
What do you find wrong with what Kennedy Japan said?
Listen, in a democracy, you fight hard to win. And if you want to sustain that democracy, you have to be fair, take into account the interests of the country. If you do your own mathematics, you are not winning. In a proper, healthy democracy, it is right to congratulate your opponent very early. And if you look at the mature democracies, such as Britain and the United States, of which we aspire to become like them, they do so. They do it. It gives hope to the citizens. And as he said, he does so to avert a potential conflict that he could foresee, that people were preparing. And you remember, I mean, lead up to this election, the NDCs made it very clear they were prepared for a fight. It was very clear.
But to the extent that it is purely discretionary.
Yes.
It's a matter of choice.
Yes.
As to whether to concede early or
Yes.
to concede to the last, bell is rung.
Yes.
I mean, why would you fault somebody who says, I am prepared?
Yes.
Or I won't concede
Yes.
until the Electoral Commission finally makes a declaration.
Okay.
That's just a matter of style. A leadership style.
Not really. Not really.
It's a matter of choice.
It's not really. I mean, you have watched the United States elections.
No, you're talking about best practice, right?
People concede just based on TV reporting.
I agree with you, but I'm saying that
They trust the system.
I agree with you, but I'm saying that in itself is a matter of choice.
But I have just told you, leading up to the election on the election day, the tension was huge. A potential conflict, potential violence. And if I do my mathematics, and I know I am losing the election, why wait till 2 or 3 people die before I will concede defeat? I don't really think it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of taking the best interests of the country at heart and making a decision. Why wait till a large number of people die simply because somebody wants to be president? It tells me that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is not interested in becoming a president. He's interested in promoting the best interests of the country. And if by losing the election can promote the best interests of the country, this is the right person to be president.
But are you by this saying that
yes,
you suspect
yes,
that the comments that Kennedy Japan made
yes,
was an indirect shade to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia?
Obviously, I mean, since if you read the international press at that time, he was credited for this, and we know since 1994 he's the only person who have done that. And for me, this is a statesman. This is not something to criticize him. To hold up to what point?
But
there's a saying that if a slab is going to be your slab, you might as well receive early.
Ken also says that this is Africa.
Okay.
You know, in
So
Africa,
we should allow people to die.
We do our things in a certain way, and so for as long as this democratic exercise is being conducted in an African space, on African terrain,
yes,
he won't accept defeat until the Electoral Commission comes out
So
to declare that he has lost or he has won.
So in Africa, we must necessarily allow citizens to lose their lives simply because we want power. Is that what we are communicating to ourselves? As Africans, what makes the white people more special than us? Aren't we? So for me, I don't agree with that. But as I said, I respect him as a person. And you could see the way that Mahmoud Bawumia is going. He is conducting an issue-based campaign.
What are the issues Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is raising?
Oh, he has raised a number of issues.
Tell me what are the issues.
Okay. So, for example, he urged members that, look, this is a family fight. There's no need to throw personal insults towards each other. Tell us how best you can actually promote the Ghanaian interests. And if he has an opportunity to become the flag bearer, the economic development, he's going to take it heads on. The Ghanaian economy is largely informal. And you could see the attempt of this ID card was to help formalize our situation. Look, believe it or not, large number of our people do not even pay taxes. People have earned huge sums of money in the informal sector. But they are not giving us the helping hand we need to develop the country.
But to be able to do this, first of all, he needs the delegates to vote for him. Are you saying this is what he's telling the delegates?
No. I mean, the delegates, for me, what I would tell the delegates is...
I'm talking about what he's telling them, not what you would tell them.
So one thing... One point is that they say he's not likely to become president because of the votes we get. But we know since 1992, with the exception of President Rawlings, there's nobody who had it one time. President Kufuor have tried twice before becoming president. I think that Akufo-Addo have tried almost 3 times. Even the sitting president lost when he was even the sitting president. He lost. So how could it be Bawumia issue? No. It is the nature of our politics. For me, Ghanaians even prefer consistency. If you consistently present somebody, you become president. That is why we are saddled with this incompetent president we currently have in the name of President John Mahama. They have rejected him, but because of consistency, the NDC have presented him again, and now we have him as a president. He's marketable, he's known. And during the last 10, 15 years, look at the way as a vice president, he had campaigned for our party.
Okay, so
very unique.
Let's interrogate the consistency argument.
Okay.
It may not be borne by the facts.
Okay. What are the facts?
Professor Edu Boahene,
yes,
when he stood in that 1992 elections,
yes,
with George J. Rawlings,
okay,
on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party,
okay,
your party jettisoned him,
okay,
and they didn't give him another opportunity to stand again,
okay,
because they felt at the time that the gap between Rawlings and Professor Edu Boahene was so wide. At the time, it was 57 to about 30-something%.
Okay.
And so they said, look, you can't do the job, so go away.
Okay.
And then they brought Kufuor,
okay,
who also did not win, but of course brought the numbers down.
Okay.
And then, of course, in 2000, we know that Kufuor won eventually, and then declared Ghana HIPIC.
Okay.
So when you make the argument
okay,
that within the MPP, the tradition has always been...
It's not only the MPP, we're talking about both sides. Okay.
It's an internal party matter.
Okay.
But you're saying that within the MPP,
yes,
what has been the tradition
yes,
is that
yes,
people who aspire to lead the party
yes,
are given more than a chance,
yes,
to be able to make a case as to why they are the ones who are most deserving to lead the party.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Of course, it's the same in the NDC. We've seen Professor Mills do it 3 times before he won.
Yes.
We've seen John Mahama try 2016, didn't work out. 2020, they went and worked out in 2024.
Okay.
3rd attempt. Okay. So yes, to some extent,
yes,
the 3rd attempt argument holds.
Yes.
But in the case of the MPP,
yes,
I've just told you about Professor Edu Boahene. So
yes,
and Kennedy Japon, in fact, in the video we played,
yes,
Ken raises that issue and says, forget about people who are saying that in MPP there's always an opportunity, a second or third opportunity.
Yes.
How do you respond to that?
The argument I advanced were not only limited to the MPP. It was just limited to the 2 major parties. So if one of Professor Edu Boahene, though people said there were other factors that led him not winning, perhaps some people mentioned health reasons. So obviously you cannot present somebody who have health challenges. But when we say consistency, let's assume there were no such challenges. But with Professor Mills then Nana Akufo-Addo, John Mahama, and then now we have Bawumia. And can't you still make argument that consistency helps? Because Edewahine is a one-off. But we know Professor Atta Mills, he was presented several times. And John Mahama has been presented at least twice. And then Akufo-Addo is presented twice. So I believe we can make the argument that consistency helps. But it is not just the fact that you are presenting him consistently. It's the nature of that particular person. I do agree. Now, Professor, believe it or not, among all these aspirants, Bawumia is a household name across the country than any one of them. Bawumia is a household name. I admit after Bawumia, Ken is likely to be the next popular person as compared to the other candidates. So if you are looking at it in terms of popularity, who are we going to spend more money to market? Mahmoud Bawumia will be the least that will spend more money to market because people already know him. We don't need to even... And then I believe he's uniquely placed. People see him to be a genuine leader. And some of the decisions that he has made, if I'm an electorate, I'm trying to make a decision as to who to vote. Somebody who has the interest of the country at heart would definitely be that person. And that decision that he made in admitting early defeat and congratulating his opponent, I mean, it inspires me. If I have the same opportunity, I will do it the same way. Because at the end of the day, you are not looking for power's sake. You are looking for power for the sake of the people. So if clearly you can promote the people's interest, why wait? And argue that in Africa, we do people different. Simply because in Africa, people should die for you to have power. For me, I do not agree with that.
Finally,
okay,
the issue about whether Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, because that theme or that issue keeps coming up.
Yes.
In the campaign of his opponents,
yeah,
okay, they keep raising the issue about he's let the party down. He's let the party down, so don't give him another opportunity. He's let the party down, so don't give him. And you juxtapose that with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's own admission of some of the, what you call some of the ills, okay,
yeah,
or the downtimes of the New Patriotic Parties and Nana Akufo-Addo's governance, of which
yeah,
he was a key member because of vice president, and then goes ahead to say that we apologize.
Yes,
and you have Gabi, as who says, well, this apology thing, let's look at it again, because you have to be careful. You don't create a certain impression that you feel so woefully.
Okay.
That you're apologizing. And that if that impression is carried, you know, by the electorate,
yes,
you would then struggle morally to go back to them and say, give me another opportunity, because you're a failure. So
okay,
you perhaps don't deserve another opportunity. Should Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia say that, look, I'm the leader of the team, and so I take full responsibility for what has happened? Or like he did, is that we are sorry and we apologize. So should he take the blame and, you know, the accusations at the same time?
Yeah.
You know, or you think that it must be a collective blame, a collective credit. Now, in doing that, you must also be careful. You must also be careful, because some people are going to come and say, well, the same Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is taking credit for A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
And so why are you taking credit for certain things and say, well, when it comes to the blame, we share? Put all of that in context.
Okay.
Did you get the point?
Yeah, I got a point. Yes.
Should we blame him solely for it? Or it's a collective blame, collective gain?
Okay, thank you very much. I think people misunderstood the nature of the apology he issued. Okay. He's not apologizing for every decision that we made, but he's apologizing for some specific decision that we have made.
Do you think he probably should have stated those issues that he's apologizing for in order to sort of, you know, put everything in its proper perspective?
Yeah, maybe at that particular point. But then if you listen to the campaign, the series of campaign, he's not only the only person who regrets for certain decisions. And the former president have also made comments.
Absolutely.
About the haircuts.
You mean the DDP?
Yes. So, I mean, it's probably known as the haircut, the debt restructuring, and some of the decisions that we make that affect people's investment. For me, public officials, there's nothing wrong with public officials admitting that we have got certain things wrong. But if you admit you've got certain things wrong and apologize for it, it is just illogical to conclude that you are wrong in everything. For me, even though we incurred difficulty towards the end of the Akufo-Addo administration, I still believe that President Akufo-Addo administration, history will judge him right that he has made some tremendous achievement. For me, this free senior high school was very close to my heart. The decision to make to introduce it. You see, International Covenant for Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights have always urged African countries to introduce it. You might not see the benefits now, but in 10, 15 years down the line, you will see the massive improvement that it has done. It led to enrollment of so many brothers and sisters in the northern part of the country who would otherwise would have been left out. It helps. And look, COVID-19, let's still go back to COVID-19. The statement that he made that we do not know how to bring people dead people back to life, but we know how to recover economies that are dead. It resonates across the world. What he was saying is that we are going to prioritize human life, and we know the economy will be affected. I was in London during the COVID-19 time. People were showing me the clips. And if you see the number of people who were dying in Britain, the United States, India, and other countries, for somebody to come out boldly and say this, you might not appreciate them. But if we were to incur that level of deaths like other countries, that's when you know that this guy did not make the right decision. But the right decision that he took, I believe, led to people not dying. Some of the measures put in place. So I believe the apology that Bawumia issued was just an acknowledgement that we have failed in certain areas. We have caused pain to certain people, and we need their forgiveness. And for me, if a public figure does that, it's proper. I've also listened to Gabi Ochire-Darko. I think he misunderstood Bawumia. He didn't say we have completely failed. No. I still believe Akufo-Addo administration did very well. And I believe Bawumia appreciates that as well, as a member of that team. But there's nothing wrong with admitting that there have been failures. In fact, that tells Ghanaians that this is a genuine politician. He would admit and apologize where he fails. And then the good things, he don't need to even be praising yourself for the good things. Okay. The good things should speak for themselves.
Okay. All right. Honorable.
Yes, please.
Would you like to chop your whole matter? Or?
Well, honestly, I would not have wanted to delve into this matter because, to paraphrase or quote my late Professor Mills, you fear Sam. But he brought in NDC. You understand? He brought in NDC. And that is the only reason why I would want to point to my brother, why they actually lost the elections. You see, I tell people, if you are walking and hit your leg and fall, you need to really look at where you hit your leg, not where you fell.
Okay, so I don't want us to want us to fall, and I don't want us to hit our leg. So let's take a break.
Okay,
I beg you.
No problem.
Yes, this is Good Morning Ghana. You're still watching Good Morning Ghana. Please don't go anywhere.
Start your kids' day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Ebusiafo ye mama kwaba eba Children's Palace. Nkwala nyema nyina fie enye. Yonkwala ntade mani mema nyina ntare nyina wase. Yonkwala shoes, yonkwala duane, yonkwala wipes, yonkwala diapers, yonkwala toys, baby coat. In fact, bibia opama omanyina obenye biwa ase.
Located at East Legon Hills, Nana Chrome KFC. Contact us on 059 6377 172. Children's Palace. Happy children, happy fashion. See you soon. Bye bye.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking Publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson.
Me didn't tum Mr. Friend Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Friend me once now. Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the accent. Me did this sasso spray. Mr. Friend is sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso. Come tum preko.
Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana. From 22nd to 24th October 2025, the World Trade Center Accra comes alive with cars, shape, train, logistics, and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitaligh.org, 0244 613 246, or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Chaco toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, We spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kale Charcoal toothpaste. Kale Charcoal toothpaste. You're on a kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo kendini, who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to a mammy manful. Kale Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is so buying, and man is swing, and a sansu mama hoto so a will beg you.
Kale Charcoal toothpaste. Choose Kale Charcoal toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kale, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Trotro from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Obey him later.
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From not the block, she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be lucky, luckiest. No matter why you're lucky. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God down boom. If you put it away, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Me, the way I see do MPP, and Yadia may be the idea MPP. You're charging me treason because of MPP. I will never do anything to destroy MPP. Now, from 1992, when was say body and soul, or didn't sika, now who are then, name dear, Abua MPP party, a chair making a Japan. Na me kura ni wia na makọ akọsẹ no ana ye party ti mesrem obi obeba bia wantimi anka adwuma ho asem na obeka kan ne Japan onye presidential material onye say look let me tell you we need bold men ye hia kukudrofo NDC for etutu asem no wanya obi anani edin na wantimi Uncle Facey NDC for your best opposition. The Muslim Munya Kukudro for until say you better the last constituency. 7 year presidential candidate. I will never accept defeat. I will never accept defeat until the electoral commissioner comes out to declare. I will not. I will never accept defeat. A kuna ya kono, a here bema, our mubata yachi. And yes, I would ya boy, Namu Dimika, no more Janet, no Marco Sisego, no. And yes, I'm your election in Africa. To vote for a bold man, ABM last one, make a transit. Obi ba was say, the messenger, me, the way I see do MPP.
Yes, so this is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Awudu Moro, and I'm here with Cleto Seydou Dapla, who is MP for Jirapa, and also the newly appointed board chair of NEDCO. Also, he's the deputy ranking who's the deputy chair, for the Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Committee of Parliament. And so he's a man with many hats, and he's going to be extremely, extremely busy. You've seen that in your shots, or you're seeing that in your shots. That's Cletus Seydi Dapla. He's a big man. He's a big man. In fact, where I used to work before, they say he's a big man. You know. So anyway, once again, congrats. Maybe at the tail end of the show, we'll talk about it briefly. What in terms of your vision and what some of the changes that you intend to bring there. So, hoping that we can spend some 5-10 minutes on that before you take leave of us, because it was important. It's an extremely, extremely important appointment. Anyway, so yes, you were talking about the. You just give us a problem.
Yes, I honestly want to believe that the narration by my co-panelists here about their party is something that I wouldn't have dealt into. But he drew the NDC into it. But all I want to tell my brother and our distinguished viewers is that the MPP lost the elections way back. In fact, even the 2020 elections, many people doubted whether they genuinely won the elections. That is what many Ghanaians believe. So as for the 2024, it was non-negotiable that they were losing or they had lost the elections way back before the elections. Even you heard the likes of Kennedy talked about it, that they lost the elections in 2021 February. And he outlined reasons why. Moro, look, their own MPs, close to out of the 138, 37 plus the independent that they had in the 8th Parliament, almost 100 of them believe that the MPP were misleading the country in terms of the economy of this country. And they called for the removal of the finance minister then. They believed things were not right. The leader of the economic management team, whom my brother is praising here, he had at that point decided not to talk about the economy again. But proud to winning power. That was his title. He was titled as the economic messiah. He was giving lectures all over, preferring solutions, what he will do when he becomes president and all of that. But under their watch, we saw inflation. Inflation at a point went to 54%. Inflation at a point went to as high as 54%. You understand? The CD, which he himself said that when they came into power 2017, you heard him, because of certain measures we put in place, he came, he said, we arrested the dollar and giving the key to the IGP. So it means that he performed the magic one and the dollar was stabilized and all of that. So when the dollar went as high as 18, 19, 17, all of that, then people were asking, where is he? And he was quiet. You know, so they had lost the elections way back. Most of the statutory funds, Get Fund, Common Fund, NHIS Fund, all of it, they had capped it. They were not making releases of statutory funds. The assemblies were collapsed. Just last week, when the local government committee summoned MMDCs, they asked one municipal assembly that 2024, what did you receive by way of common fund? I was shocked to hear that the whole of the 2024, they received just 1.5 million Ghana cedis. Not quarter. Then they asked him, how much did you receive since NDC came to power in 2025? He said in 2025, we received 2 trenches, and the 2 trenches, we had 8 million plus. 8 million plus, that's just for 2 trenches. In my assembly, Jirapa, they never got anything up to 1 million cedis. You understand? Today, they got almost 5 million plus. Just 2 quarters. But the assemblies were all dead, collapsed. No engineer was happy, no planner was happy, but there was no resources to work. You understand? So all I'm trying to say is that they mismanaged Ghana such that, and they were not listening to anybody.
But Bamia says they're sorry.
You understand? What I'm trying to say is that, what I'm trying to see, He should have apologized when he was in office. That is how you do it. Because when people were telling him that things were not right, he was justifying it. They justify it. Why is he apologizing today? You understand? Today the blame game has started. The blame game has started. All of them, even Kennedy, now is about who has committed the more sins. That is what they are now into. And I'm sorry, I think they are matured people. They should do their campaign without rancor. They can do it. They can do it better. But all of this, Moro, I've said it. Whoever that MPP elect as flag bearer, the good works of President Mahama will still put them into opposition come 2029. So they should know that very well, that whoever that they are bringing, whoever, whether it is Baumia, it is Kennedy, it is Educhum, it is Kobina J, and all of that, all of them, I'm telling you that, look, today, I'm telling you, go to the assemblies. Assemblies are building projects, school blocks, chiefs compound, drilling boreholes, advertise for supply of furniture. Assemblies, that's just assembly, not central government. You understand? And what are you trying to say? The local government concept was brought to bring doorsteps development to the doorsteps of the people, so that the people could participate in decision making. Under the last 8 years of the MPP, they collapsed. Nobody knew what was happening in the assemblies. Today, if you go to even my own Jarapas, they've advertised for school blocks. They've advertised for chiefs compounds. Just when I went home, we handed over a school block and a chiefs compound. They advertised for drilling of boreholes. That is just the assembly level. You understand? So it tells you that this is how you develop people. But when we were telling them that they were not doing it rightly, they were justifying it. Even when they were falling, they were losing, they were all over the place talking big English. And I tell people, when you are losing power, nothing, even if they make your wife or your sibling the EC chair, but you will still lose power. You understand? Because people at a point when they are fed up, because Ghanaians are now discerning. The voter is now political conscious. Everybody knows what he or she is about. So when you keep on going on television, lying to the people and thinking that they will believe you, no. 2024 wasn't the usual mantra like 2016, one village, one down, one district, one factory, and people, fall for it. You understand? At a point, you saw that they abandoned all those slogans. You understand? They could not, because they realized that the people were now asking questions. Where are the dams? Where are the factories? The answers were not forthcoming. You see, so they had to abandon that and started veering into digitalization. So the people were like, no, this is not, we don't know you in this area. You told us you are an economist. So we gave you the benefit of the doubt so that your party can come to power. Today you are veering into IT areas. No. That was when they lost it completely. You understand? Okay. So for me, I wish them well. We are in a democracy. We will not want to have a one-party state. We want them to be relevant so that we can always beat them. We want them to be able to critique us so that we can work well for Mother Ghana. Okay. But they should support the good policies of President Mahama. Today, like I said, all statutory funds, let me commend the finance minister. People are saying he's not spending, but I'm telling you, every month, all the statutory funds are being released. Tomorrow, today, you won't hear any NHIS service providers saying they are demonstrating. Get Fund is paying their obligations, debt obligation. They are paying their debtors. You understand? Go to Common Fund. They are making good releases. So it tells you that the system is working. And this is what we expected of them. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. And that was the reason why their own MP said, no, you are not doing well from what we hear. So you saw the repercussions of the consequences of the elections 2024. Okay. They lost many of the seats because they had no mercy. Galamsey that they are talking about. Look, we are fighting Galamsey better than they did. They did. You came just in 2017, Moro, and you came out with an LI for people to be able to mine in our forest reserve. What was the motive? What was the motive? What was the motive that just winning power in 2017? Well, you did that to be able to give the forest reserve to some of your kingpins and financiers. That was the beginning of our problem. And that was when the water started getting bad. Galamsey is an old thing that has been with us. You understand? Yeah. It's like gather and collect. You know, that is how they used to do it. But this idea of mining in our water bodies, in our forest reserve, you people actually started it. With your LI, that gave you the opportunity to give some of our forest reserves to some of your kingpins. And most of the rivers pass through the forests. You understand? And that's how the water is being polluted. So someone has come to power. Out of 14 forest reserves that you gave to people to mine, we were able to reclaim some 9 of them and still fighting to take the rest of them. Instead of you to support us, you created the problem. Somebody is cleaning your mess, and you are saying that the person is not doing it, you know, the person is being slow in cleaning your mess. That is the point. Galamsey is not something that anybody should encourage at all. But all that we are saying is that in terms of who fought Galamsey or who is fighting Galamsey, you cannot say that you did it better than us. No, we are honestly the ones fighting Galamsey better than you did. And mind you, Moro, they also issue the most small-scale mining licenses than any other regime. What was the motive? Even when they lost power, between 7th December to 6th January 2025, they issued so many of them to their party cronies. That is how reckless they were when they were in power. So you created a problem, you created a mess, and you turn around to blame somebody who has just come into power for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. That is not fair. That is not fair. And you didn't lose the election because of just Galamsey. There are many constituencies that they don't do Galamsey, yet you lost in those areas. You understand? So it tells you that holistically, you need to actually look at the reasons why you lost election. It wasn't just about Galamsey.
Okay. All right. I guess that we would have to make some progress because we still have a lot to talk about. I mean, after the back and forth, we can go on and on the whole day. So let's look at this briefly. It's a health-related matter, and it affects all of us. And so let's briefly look at this before we look at some other topics. We're told there's a new influenza outbreak, which is threatening to create some health problems for Ghanaians. I want us to, look at it. It's by Abigail Ano, who is with the Ghanaian Times, and she's reporting that Ghana is experiencing an influenza outbreak as health authorities call for increased vigilance and public adherence to preventive measures to curb the spread of the infection. Now, a statement signed and issued by the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoira, I believe it's Akori. So, yesterday said that the rising case of seasonal influenza has been confirmed in parts of this country, particularly in the Greater Accra, Central Bono and Eastern regions. Laboratory tests have identified influenza A strains, which is H3N2 and H1N1, as mainly driving the outbreak. According to the GHS, the surge coincides with the country's annual flu season, which peaks during the cooler months. Now, symptoms include sudden fever, coughs, that's a sore throat, a runny nose, body aches, headache, and fatigue. The flu spreads mainly through respiratory droplets from coughing, sneezing, and talking, or by touching contaminated surfaces. The service cautioned that crowded places such as schools, dormitories, markets, and transport terminals are high-risk settings for rapid transmission. It said the most vulnerable include children, pregnant women, the elderly, and people with chronic illness such as asthma, diabetes, and heart disease. The GHS urged the public to seek medical care early when they develop flu-like symptoms, stay home when unwell, and maintain good hygiene by washing hands regularly with soap and running water, covering coughs and sneezes, and disinfecting frequently touched surfaces. And it says it's advising the use of face mask. None of us has a face mask on. Maybe from here we'd have to get one. But it says that the use of face masks in crowded areas and for people to avoid close contact with sick individuals. Notwithstanding, the service said it had enhanced disease surveillance, rolled out rapid diagnostic testing at various health facilities, updated treatment protocols for clinicians, and intensified public education through media and community channels to manage the situation. It added that it was also working closely with the Ghana Education Service to safeguard the health of students and staff, with schools reopening across the country, we urge all school authorities, parents, and students to strictly observe flu prevention measures. The Ministry of Health through the GHS assured the public that all necessary measures are being taken to contain the high flu cases, and the cooperation of stakeholders are vital in protecting yourself, your family, and your community. Ishak, would you want to weigh on this? It's a health-related matter. Fortunately, you've practiced in the health sector before, and so you can relate to some of these health developments.
Yes, I think I actually know somebody who had a similar symptoms, though he couldn't confirm it. Yesterday, I think last night we met after a long period, I think about 2.5 weeks. So when we met, he told me he almost died because he has these flu-like symptoms. First, he thought it was COVID-19. It turned out not to be COVID-19. Others say it was clone infection, but he doesn't really know what happened, but it was like a flu-like symptoms. Yes, so we don't know how seriously it is within the community. So your advice that we are not wearing masks. I'm not sure whether it's a premature call. Obviously, if you are having symptoms, the mask is in order for you to be able to collect whatever is coming out, especially if you are sneezing or there's droplets coming out. That could increase the risk of infection. So clearly, people with symptoms will probably need to do that. If possible, self-isolate if there's no need for you to be with other people. And I think generally, people just need to be taught about disease prevention. I think one of the bigger problems I believe we have in the country is prevention. Prevention, as they say, is always better than cure. And the most basic prevention we always know is hand hygiene. The need to wash your hands properly, either before you touch anything that don't need to be touched, or before you eat. Once we practice hand hygiene very well, it will cut most of these things that we are talking about. And as I said, self-isolation. If you just realize that you have the symptoms, there is no need to be in a crowd. Don't put yourself in a crowd. That can help the general population so that it doesn't reach pandemic level of which it becomes a serious issue. As you can see, we are already a resource-constrained country, especially in the health sector. And if we have to have a new pandemic that will add to the existing already constraints resources that we have, it will be another problem. But I just want to take this opportunity to move a little bit from this pandemic to other areas that people are not even taking it seriously. I don't know whether you remember I was having some informal conversation with you.
Right.
When I spoke about diabetes being on the increase. One of my younger brothers, who is just about 28 years, diagnosed with diabetes. Whoa. And not just him, you hear a lot of other people. So that's another area we need to really talk about it. And you remember, I made a comment, you think it was very controversial. When I said it's better you even have HIV as compared to diabetes, but people don't know that. People generally are scared of HIV, but they don't think diabetes is even more serious than HIV. Because of the way HIV is talked about, but diabetes is not. So generally, sugar intake would need to be decreased. Why do I say diabetes, for example, HIV, for example, is better than diabetes? Diabetes comes with several associated problems. You can go blind if you have diabetes. If you have cut in some parts of your body, and you have serious diabetes, they might amputate you. Diabetes can even make males impotent. So it comes with so many associated issues. But if somebody have HIV, they manage it very well, they will live the normal life expectancy. And in fact, medications have really increased that you could still live in healthy relationship with other people. You may have babies who will not be affected at all. But the health issues with diabetes, especially the amount of resources it will even take from the health sector. And simple technique, even though you might have some gene that can contribute to diabetes, but the lifestyle and the kind of things that we eat, the sugary products and other things. So general health education will help everybody. Like me, malaria used to be one of the biggest things. I took all measures to make sure that for the 5 years, I'm glad to tell you, I've not had malaria, but you see people having it. So general health education can help us. so that we can prevent many of these things. Just take steps so that you don't even get to the doctor. Okay. But for you to get to the doctor and then be looking for a solution is a very issue too. I know people, so when you study health, we have various models to health. So the popular one is what we call biomedical model. It's where you think the presence of organisms causes sickness. Though some people have what we call the religious or the faith model, that they believe generally sicknesses is induced. Maybe it's God's making. Do you understand that? So while you understand that aspect, I believe more in the biomedical model. And that if you take proper measures, you may not be sick. And other countries is working. But when you meet many of our contemporaries, they still believe that God makes it is only God that makes it possible for you to get sick. So whilst I believe that such belief is good for recovery, because you don't have to be completely hopeless when you're sick. We shouldn't take that attitude when it comes to prevention. Because we know while I'm a big believer in God, but I believe the hand hygiene, the mode of portal of diseases going to your body, they are real. And I'm not sure whether you are familiar with Thomas Aquinas' philosophy. Whilst he said there is a divine law, there's also something called eternal law. So God revealed the divine law or divine knowledge to us through the religious books. But the eternal one is present. But we have to research to find them. So the mode of portals of how diseases get into us is part of the eternal knowledge. And scientists can discover them. So if they discover them, don't just stick to the divine knowledge. The eternal knowledge is part of God's knowledge. I mean, if you read the Thomas Aquinas philosophy, I'm not a Catholic, but I read philosophy and I enjoy that aspect. So it tells people that maybe our concept of God might be poor. And if we take the eternal knowledge very well, so if new knowledge is produced, and we know when you do this, you get sick, even though God might not tell you that in the Quran or in the Bible, but once the scientific knowledge is produced, we'll do it. And maybe as the article said, let's start it from primary school. Hand hygiene is very, very important. Cleanliness, when there is a need to clean, you do it. And then maybe generally not new clothes, but make sure that your environment is clean. And I think that's another area we are having problem. Look at our gutters. Almost everywhere you go, disease and organism have the ability to take those places as hosts.
So you say African disease doesn't kill?
African disease what?
African disease doesn't kill.
It doesn't kill. But
we survive African disease.
No, but sometimes it's not about death. For me, I'm not really scared of death, but suffering.
I mean,
what about suffering?
It's understandable.
Pain?
I mean, you're a Malam. I'm not surprised.
What about suffering and pain? It's either productivity. So this thing, we still need to take it serious. Whether you die or not, the suffering and the pain. And you know elsewhere they have Digites. Digites is a specialist hospital where people even go to tell doctors, kill me. But generally, those people doesn't want to suffer pain. So pain and suffering is part of it, productivity. We want people to be healthy. And maybe that's where the government come in, encouraging clean. In fact, there was a guy who met me in Alajo and urged me to urge the government. I had the opportunity to go. He was very worried. So he spoke about the old style of Sama when they used to cut people. Why don't we bring it back? Because people are just dumping things where they are not supposed to dump them. There's just this issue of not keeping the environment clean. All these things can lead to that. And flu, we need to understand flu is caused by a virus. And I've got a lot of people who believe flu, you got flu when it's cold and you have to cover your body. I'm not sure why we get that particular belief. This is a viral infection. But you get very well educated people who doesn't associate with virus, but associate with weather conditions. Yes, it can. I do understand where that particular myth comes from. Because flu tends to survive in a moist environment or during the rainy season, but it's not caused by rain. It's caused by a viral infection. And if we take proper hygiene, I think we can reduce and prevent some of these things.
Honorable, There's an influenza outbreak. I'm sure you're concerned for yourself, your family, your constituents, you know, because when they fall sick, they will knock on your door.
Yeah, I associate myself with my brother's submission about the fact that we seem not to take, you know, our health issues seriously as a country. Let me just start it from where he landed, talking about issues of sanitation and all of that. Sanitation issues is a very big problem. It's something that if we are not careful, it can, you know, eat all of us up. Our attitude and mindset about cleanliness within our surroundings is a big problem. There are many people who think that the only place he or she needs to, or the only place that needs to be clean is where he sleeps, or is just within his room or his house. So, surprisingly, you see people gather, they sweep around their houses, sweep in their houses, gather refuse, put in polythene bags, then they just go outside their house and throw it anywhere. They just dump it anywhere. So when you see such refuse being heaped around a place that they shouldn't be, then they begin to, you know, start generating health problems, giving us bad odor, which we inhale, and it gives us health problems. All of this, we don't think about it. You understand? So for me, we need serious enforcement of our sanitation laws and bylaws around this country. We need it seriously. Otherwise, we will all be found wanting one day. And some of these outbreaks, when it comes, it doesn't know the rich, it doesn't know the poor. Once the environment is polluted, once the environment, there's bad air for everybody to breathe, nobody will be spared. So we ought to be very careful and be very cautious about cleanliness around us. Some of the, just last, I think this month I was home. There was a cleanup exercise in Jirapa. I participated. Then I asked the question, you will even you see these public latrines, public toilets, VIPs and those things. Somebody, or there is a place where you have these containers that they dump refuse. Then you see somebody, they will not even get to the container to put in their refuse. They just walk anywhere near it. They won't even get near it and they will dump the refuse there. While the container is not even full. So another person too will gather his refuse and also go, he won't reach the container, also dump it there. So you go and see the container, sometimes not full, but the refuse are being just dumped anywhere around. Within the neighborhood, within houses. And that is something we ought to stop. We need to take our cleanliness seriously. Otherwise, when outbreaks like this start, it can engulf all of us. But I believe in the Ghana Health Service. I'm sure by now they would have put in, serious, measures to be able to contain this. I know the capacity of our Ghana Health Service. The minister and his team are doing so fantastic. All the other supporting agencies within the ministry, I believe, will come in. Medical Trust Fund, Mahama Medical Trust Fund.
Let me beg you, and let me beg you to speak to. I want to speak to the Director General of the Ghana Health Service. Yes. That's Professor Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoria.
Yeah,
I hope I got the pronunciation.
Yeah, you got it.
Akoria.
Fantastic gentleman.
Now, Prof, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us on Good Morning Ghana.
Yeah, good morning to you and good morning to everybody listening. And as I just refer to me as Samuel Kaba Korea or Dr. Kaba Korea, okay?
I hear you. All right, Dr. Kaba Korea. That's fine. Now, this influenza outbreak, for which reason you are calling on all of us to increase our vigilance and public adherence to preventative measures. Tell us about this new strain of virus or this strain of virus, why it is dangerous and why we should all be protecting ourselves. What is this virus in the first place?
Right. So let me say that we have confirmed the type of virus splitting, okay, which is H3N2 and H1N1. These are regular seasonal viruses found in Ghana, and as the word goes, seasonal. Anytime our temperatures get cold, we kind of experience them. And so it's one of those regular things that happen in Ghana every year. And we shouldn't be too afraid of them because it will happen again next year. What we should take the necessary measures to make sure that they do not actually harm us to the extent that we might be forced to put in measures of restrictions that are not necessary. And we can avoid this by making sure that we wash our hands, we use face masks, we keep our environment clean, and at every given time, if we feel any kind of sickness that has to do with the respiratory tract, like you kind of feel like it's fever, flu-like symptoms, cough, sneezing, please isolate yourself, use your face mask, and if you're not feeling good, just go to the nearest fine and keep the sanitizers, hand washing, and you'll be fine.
I mean, I've heard some people say that as for the symptoms that you have outlined, we keep experiencing them all the time. It's not new to us as Ghanaians. So why should we take particular attention to this particular one, which is the influenza A strains H3N2 and H1N1? What makes it different?
You know, we always have to take particular attention to every disease that we experience. And the reason is this. When you don't actually take good care of this from the beginning, it tends to spread. And the more people you get, the more your health facilities become choked. And then serious diseases that you might have to spend time dealing with, you will not have the necessary manpower and logistics to be dealing with those serious diseases. But you'd rather spend all your time dealing with things that you can easily deal with. I'll give you an example. You have a school of, let's say, 300 or 400 students. Once it starts and you are able to isolate the person to an infirmary and use the face masks, and because they are young, they are dynamic, they are moving up and down. If you are not able to do that, in 5 minutes, the thing spreads to everyone. Now you have to spend a lot of money trying to get face masks for everyone instead of just one person. Now we are talking of the totality of over 500 people. You have to put in measures. And if it becomes worse, you might have to even be thinking about how to isolate them and other measures that I would not even want to go there. Because I know these days you say something, they'll say the Director General says they should do this. No. But, I know. Then you have to spend all your energy trying to say that was not what was said. So I won't even go down that lane. That is very, very important. Anytime. I keep telling people that when we were facing COVID and we're taking all the necessary measures, wash your hands, use face masks, use hand sanitizer, we never experienced cholera. This flu, they were all things of, we could say, of the past. But we relaxed, we went back to our regular habits, and then these things, they start and they kind of spread. So I'll call on all Ghanaians. And let me even mention this, that I'm working together with my colleague, the Director General of Ghana Education Service, and to make sure that we extend all the necessary support, and both technically and material to the areas, the schools affected. But I will say to all Ghanaians, please, when you feel any of these symptoms, please just go to the hospital. You'll be well taken care of. But more than that, please use your face masks, wash your hands, use hand sanitizers, and we'll all be fine. This is a seasonal thing. After the season, it also goes.
Now, if some parents are watching us this morning, I'm sure that whilst they're concerned about themselves, they'll also be concerned about their children in school. Now, you tell us that, you say, and I hope that this quote has been appropriately attributed to you. It says, with schools reopening across the country, we urge all school authorities, parents, and students to strictly observe flu preventative measures. Now, the Ministry of Health through the GHS assures the public that all necessary measures are being taken to contain these high flu cases and the cooperation of stakeholders are vital in protecting yourself, your family, and your community. I mean, Prof, this is Ghana. We do better with pressure and with how do you call it, when you compel us to do certain things. I mean, especially when it comes to our health. I mean, how is the GHS going to monitor these schools to make sure that the health safety protocols are being adhered to, so that children don't go back home and they're reporting on all kinds of, conditions, and their parents have to spend money, and the tension that sometimes, is associated with these kinds of conditions at home. How do you intend to monitor whether these schools are adhering by these, health protocols?
All right. It's not that we intend to do. We are doing already.
Okay.
In the last 2 weeks, I dispatched 3 teams to the central region. I was in Western region myself, and in Greater Accra region myself, we've gone to certain places. So we are making sure that we adhere to some of the protocols, right from the infirmary to the classrooms to the playgrounds, making sure that children who start with any flu-like symptoms are given the face masks. We actually send some of these items, the face masks, Veronica bucket for hand washing, hand sanitizers. My sector minister gave the directive that we should support all the schools with whatever we have. So we had to deploy some of these items to the schools through our regional directors, and we are willing to do more. And that is why we also communicated to the Ghana Education Service. And as I said, my colleague, the Director General of Ghana Education Service, we are looking at the school health program, the infirmaries, and the nursing, and every little thing. We are working together and making sure that our children adhere to some of these measures that we put in place. And not only putting the pressure on them, but also supplying them and giving them some of the things that are necessary to make sure that these things are curtailed. So, and then we don't get numbers that are exaggeratively high. In fact, one of the things that we try to avoid is the complications, because once you get it and then you get complicated, that's where now you go to the hospital, you need admission, and once you are admitted, you might even end up in intensive care unit, things that we can easily have avoided, and we don't want to get to that level. We just don't want to get to that level.
What will happen to schools that flout these directives?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Could you kindly...
Yeah, I'm saying that what sanctions would apply to schools that do not adhere to these directives?
Oh, no, I don't think the schools will not adhere. All of them are so far cooperating 100% because they also feel it. You get what I mean? It's not like the virus is chasing some particular people, so everybody is adamant about it besides those people. The virus chases anyone. And the schools, we are giving them the necessary education on that. And the teachers are actually enforcing all the rules. And I think that the nurses in the schools, I have to commend them as well. In the infirmaries, they are also doing all the necessary. I just remember when we were in the central region, those in the infirmary, the students, they were in their face masks, they were adhering, and they would even say, "Don't come near to me. I kind of feel like I don't feel like eating. I feel like sneezing. Don't come near to me. We have to stop this." So I'm very happy with what is happening when it comes to adherence.
My penultimate question to you: do you have enough human resource to go around and check?
Oh, no, we don't have to. You see, one of the things I might have to clarify here is I like to monitor myself, and most of the time I don't need to say most of the things I do. But I don't have to do them personally, and I don't have to have a team doing this all the time. The Ghana Health Service is structured in a way that we have the regional level. So at each region, we have the regional director and his team. We have the district level. At each place, we have the district director and his team. And we have the sub-district level and the community and everything. At each level, we have the personnel. So all we do is to give a directive and it descends. And all we do is maybe some high-level monitoring where I might get up and join a team and say, let's go and see if these things are happening. Then I meet my regional director, but I trust them 100% because anytime we give any order, it descends as we want. And anytime we monitor, it happens just as we want. If you remember recently, I was in the Volta region checking even private schools and public schools on the HPV vaccine. And I was so happy because all the schools, including the private, they were so happy to receive us, and we saw the vaccination ongoing. And the district directors were doing their job. The nurses at the sub-district level were doing their job, and it's fantastic. So we do have the structures and the personnel to look into whatever directive we give. Okay. And they are doing very well. I must commend them, and help me commend all the health workers in this front.
So you tell us that it's particularly predominant in Greater Accra, Central, Bono, and Eastern regions. Is this to suggest that the other regions can go to sleep and do nothing? No. So if you see the directive or the press release, let me say it that way, it's not directed to Greater Accra, Bono, and Central. It's directed to the entire country. Okay. You see, we saw this in COVID. It started in Wuhan, China. We were affected in Ghana and the entire world. Why sit and wait and say it won't come? Every day, Ghanaians travel from here to... yesterday, I was in Eastern region, in Akwatia. Okay. By morning time, I was in Accra. And the same people were in Kumasi, they are in Accra. People were in Navrongo, they are in Accra, and Accra people are in Navrongo. So we commute a lot, and we will not want anyone to go to sleep because it just take one person and everybody will be affected. So we insist that all the regions, and if anyone has anything, symptoms, should just start with a face mask and maintain the cleanliness, hand washing, and we shall be fine as a country. Okay, so but finally, how fatal, how deadly is this influenza? What's the worst that can happen to somebody if they get it?
All right. So regularly, it should be just a common flu that happens and disappears as season changes. Okay. However, if you have other comorbidities, okay, you are diabetic, you already have some respiratory issues like pneumonia and other things, it can complicate you easily. You get what I mean? Yeah. And so we have to actually take good care of our elderly, the pregnant women, and the infants with especially anomalies. We need to take very good care of them, and they have to also take good care of themselves and avoid that. They can preventively use the face masks. It doesn't have to be the person who has it uses the face mask. All of us, we can use the face mask as a preventive measure, especially the vulnerable that I just mentioned. So normally we should be fine, but you can be complicated if you have other comorbidities. And that is what we have to hammer on so that they will protect themselves even far more than the young people. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Prof, thank you so very much for your time.
You are welcome, sir.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good day. Have a good day.
Same
so,
to you.
Dr. Kaba Akoria, I hope I got the pronunciation correctly. Is Akoria? Yes, Akoria.
That's
is the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Acting Director General of the Ghana Health Service.
Akoria Fafra.
Yes, and
Acting Kasana. Okay.
Right.
The Fafra,
so I guess that would continue with. We'll continue with our conversation today. So I will bring you in, and then we can look at our next topic. So what's your take?
Basically, I wouldn't want to take much of the time on this. Yeah. At least the expert himself has spoken. Let's all adhere to the protocols that are being put in place, so that all of us can have, our health, being intact, so that we can go about with our normal daily lives and all of that. So I in conclusion, Moro, health is wealth. Let's take our health seriously. Let's support the Ghana Health Service to implement whatever protocols that they are putting in place in order to curb this influenza. We don't need it. We don't need it. And if you are experiencing the symptoms, don't waste time. Just seek, Fortunately now, we have chiefs compounds dotted all over our communities. Health facilities are dotted around. That is one thing that the Ghana Health Service and the Ministry of Health, they've done so well. Now, if you go to many of our areas, even areas that don't even have a compound, yet they demarcate it as a CHIP zone where they have nurses who go around to attend to, those communities. So they've been able to, extend their tentacles everywhere in our society. Okay. So you don't need to walk far in order to see a nurse. You don't need to walk far in order to access a medical center, whether compound or not compound. They are zoned there. So they go there and move from community to community to assess or to check. So if you are feeling these symptoms, you don't need to wait till it is out of hand before you will be rushed to the hospital.
Okay.
Thank you so
just
much.
a wedding as to that. I like the last question you asked and his response to it. Though I just wish he has highlighted something more. So generally, the general population will generally be fine, except people who have comorbidities. Okay. So if you look elsewhere, it can be fatal with people with comorbidities. So I could see that in Britain, Canada, and the United States. They have flew to take care of those people and other vulnerable members, such as the elderly and children. So they would be having free vaccination that can generally prevent them from getting this flu. I'm not sure whether we have such a system there. And I wish there was a question that solicited that answer from the doctor, so that people who are vulnerable, seasonally, could always go for such a flu vaccine to help protect them.
All right. So one of our regular viewers, Reverend Jose Latte, he's almost like, he's a big brother to me. It's a very, very, very good man. He's domiciled in the UK.
Okay.
He's a minister of God, and he sends a very interesting message. He says that, good morning. He said, I'm so glad that you're hosting health. You recall that I was particular about poor sanitation when you were he mentions the name of a media station was before. And he says, I brought your attention the demise of our water bodies in 2010. At the time, you were dismissive. Then, our wealth depends on our health. No nation has ever prospered in filth. It says, great Professor, Professor Kaba for me. And it says, Professor Kaba was the first neurosurgeon who successfully divided Siamese. That's true. That's also a fact, yes. I keep saying that I think about Professor Kaba is that he's not told his stories. Okay. He's not told his story well, but because he's done some really, really great things. Maybe one of these days when we are able to, we should be able to invite him. Of course, if he has the time to join us for us to talk about this. Now, I want us to move on and talk about some other things. But before then, let's do this. Stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana. Please don't go anywhere.
Start your kids' day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Menya oden o tianti mu amanfo ada o hye me boso obeto phone na mama me phone na say dada menya oden
dem was surprised ma
surprise ben
surprise
hey Kofi papa phone o iPhone 13 nanya ne
ende me fankofo bi mienu o amuko circle ene ba ko ne ka chena dan fa hawa ono odi ni Ghana card ekọ EBA phone so a otua 40% pen edi ni phone ma no a da aka no betua ne kakra Timothy ya me drop na me so me call ho and I'm going to phone the brown.
Oh, coffee papa me da say. I'm sure.
What EBA phones had ye, yet on iPhones ne ho akade nyina. Ye sanso de ma wholesale. So ye dealer na so pedodo atua and na se afi na wo she iPhone business na sia. Braya sia ye, hwehwe ye chira kwan e wa Accra Circle Mall. Any tiptoe lean, modern photos in chain. American Monso, ye ni odor rice ene di nhwenim. Kumase ye wedum ejekuma brunsan nim. Obetumi so hu ye e wo www.
Ama Nancy mi general well-being enko ye kwao. Amama ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nancy me hu se me nyo basima kura. Ama me kunu ne me into kwankwa. Oyiwa. Enye mo ko. Give us JC mixture and the capsules. Aye num boom. En ho asem na mo kana. E boa emma ene meme nyina. Ne ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be masima. Ya we be boa wo kunu. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum. Na wanyinya na nim tisese ne oyi chokomo. GC mixture and a capsule. Achesa.
A painful battle one more menu for one kwada when you feel to me.
Achesa. Wabe dum tamaso. Hey, J. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwema besisia. Abozig. Akachese no ya konate and the mod drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her. Oh, dash. Eddie. Dabio, baby womb. Ready. Hey, baby womb. Ah, Eddie. I'll cause some discomfort. Ah. Sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral? At to phone for Aerofield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share Nanda Daya was mosquito call is to do woman. Na say spray with them musa. Try sima a dronum and sana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Go be from Doja be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter what you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame.
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it at so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Victory, celebration, legacy. It's 40 years of Jesus is our victory. Join Victory Bible Church International for the Wonderful Jesus Conference 2025. A power-packed celebration marking 40 glorious years of God's faith and God's grace. It all begins on Saturday, 12th October with the Mega Praise and Worship Night, a night of pure gratitude and praise. Then get ready for the Wonder Walk on October 25th, a citywide walk of testimony and victory. From October 27th to the 30th of October, the Wonderful Jesus Conference continues live at the VBCI Dominion Sanctuary, Awoshi Junction. Expect nothing but divine encounters, miracles, and transformation. On October 31st, meet us at the Independence Square for a nationwide gathering of worship, power, and the Word. Then on November 1st, join the outreach program at Mancho Agbona. Then let's touch lives and share the love of Jesus Christ. And finally, the grand service at the Independence Square on November 2nd. Come and witness the glory of 40 years of victory. Ministering are Bishop N.A. Takiyaboy, Bishop Clement Amankwa Isehene, Bishop Elijah Saforo, and Bishop Emmanuel Akon. Wonderful Jesus Conference 2025. 40 years of grace, power, and impact. From the 12th of October to the 2nd of November. Victory Bible Church International invites you to celebrate Jesus because Jesus is our victory.
You are watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo Moro, and I'm here with the man Cletus Seydou Dappala, who is MP for Jirapa, and also he is now the newly appointed board chair of NEDCO. He's here with us. Ishak Ibrahim is a law lecturer and also a member of the MPP's Legal Directorate. And we've had some really, really interesting conversations in case you just joined us. Now, also remember that this show is live on 94.1 FM. So you can monitor us on a radio dial. 94.1 is crystal clear. You would hear every single thing that we're talking about here. But before we proceed to talk about our next issue, let me bring to you what our viewers have been saying in terms of the opinions that they've been expressing on the things that we're talking about. So Abdul Momin Wanam says, good morning, and he's watching us on Facebook. He says, he says, good morning, Moro. The New Patriotic Party is not just looking for a candidate to represent the party, but it is looking for a person who can win the 2028 elections with good leadership style in putting everyone together for victory. And that is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. That's from Wanam. Jonas Osei says, what did Nanado actually do to save us, yes, in the COVID era? Is it the 2 weeks lockdown, the corrupted hot meal, the $150 testing at KIA? Is it the fellow Ghanaians address? What was it? Or it's just the name COVID? Theophilus Okain Hagan says, so MPP will never change. It should have come with a question mark. I think that he wants to ask instead of making a statement. So anyway, Theophilus Okain Hagan, thanks very much for that message. What do we have next? Okay, all right. So these are the ones that we just thought we should bring to our attention. There's quite a number of them, but these are the ones that we've chosen. Anyway, so let's look at this issue. Now, it appears that this matter doesn't want to go away, does it? I mean, this matter of Ghana, accepting some West African nationals who have been deported from the United States of America as part of a major crackdown on the immigration, people who have overstayed their welcome and so on and so forth. And the minority or the New Patriotic Party have been asking about what the memorandum of understanding that Ghana has with America, which is actually guiding this whole, this exercise, or what I call this transaction, if you want to put it that way. The government hasn't shown us the document. The government only says that, look, there's been some memorandum of understanding. Whether it is oral or it is written, we're not too clear in our minds. Now, we've also heard the Foreign Affairs Minister explain that this particular one is not the type that must go to Parliament, for Parliament to say, okay, go ahead and bring in the foreign nationals. In any case, the foreign nationals were here anyway. And he argues and he states that the matter came up in Cabinet and the Attorney General said it after reading or after he had apprised himself with the facts of the matter. He came to a very firm, unambiguous conclusion that this is not the type of agreement that must go to Parliament, for Parliament to ratify it. And so he, the Foreign Affairs Minister, said, okay, now that you have blessed it, you have approved it, you can bring the people down. The other leg of the discussion was that, look, this is America, and this is Donald Trump's America. Donald Trump is very transactional. He would never give something without taking, or he would never take something without giving. He believes in that. It is his philosophy. So there's definitely something in it for Ghana, for which reason we decided to accept these foreign nationals into this country. And then we had the Foreign Affairs Minister in some subsequent interviews who said, well, you know, already we're in some conversations with Americans over this 5-year visa ban. You know, the Americans were saying that no more 5-year visa for Ghanaians. It's now 3 months. It doesn't matter who you are. And so the Foreign Affairs Minister says, well, we've been able to seal a deal with Americans to reverse that ban. Now Ghanaians can go and apply for their 5-year visa, and if they're lucky, they'll get it. And then some people say, oh, so that's the reason why you're accepting these foreign nationals into this country. In fact, he himself said it was part of the deal. But a group of people have gone to court. For them, the Gitmo 2 is not enough. And Gitmo 2 happened in 2000, and I believe 2011. No, it must have been in 2011. No, it was 2000. It started in 2013, but the ruling was
during the first Mahama administration.
The first Mahama
administration. So it's a repeated offender.
Right. So they're saying it's not enough. So they're back in court.
Yes.
And they're called the Democracy Hub. Now, they filed a writ of the Supreme Court challenging what it describes as an unconstitutional and illegal memorandum of understanding between the government of Ghana and the United States of America for the reception and detention of deported West African nationals. Now, the group contends that the MOU, which allegedly shows that the U.S., which allegedly allows the U.S. to transfer third country nationals to Ghana for temporary detention and onward rendition, violates both Ghana's constitution and international human rights obligations.
Yep.
Now, the Supreme Court has fixed Wednesday, which is next week Wednesday, October 2025, to hear this application for an interlocutory injunction seeking to halt the implementation of the agreement pending the final determination of the case. Now, according to Democracy Hub, the Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Oblakwa disclosed in September that Ghana had reached an understanding with the United States to receive and temporarily detain deported West African nationals from U.S. immigration and customs enforcement facilities. Now, the arrangement was said to form part of broader negotiations to lift visa sanctions imposed by Washington on Ghana. Now, since the group says 42 individuals have been repatriated in 3 separate batches on September 6, September 19, and October 13, 2025, and detained under armed military custody at the Bondasi military training camp. Democracy Hub alleges that the deportees were held in deplorable conditions for weeks without charge, without access to lawyers, and under inhumane conditions. The rate is filed under Articles 21B 1301 of the 1992 Constitution, which seeks 28 reliefs.
Yep.
Incredible. 28 reliefs from the Apex Court, and we'll try and show you some of those reliefs shortly. Now, the group's legal challenge rests on 4 key arguments. 1, the lack of parliamentary approval. And there's also abuse of human rights. There's a complicity in chain refoulement, as we say it in French, so refoulement. And it goes on and on and on. Now, we're told that if it's upheld, the case could set a precedent for how Ghana negotiates and ratifies international agreements involving foreign security and immigration arrangement. We'd have thought that this was a fait accompli. I mean, this was something that was an open and shut case, you know, because of the Gitmo 2 matter. But we're back, it's back in court. I'm sure you have seen the writs, and I'll start with you, Ishak.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a useful exercise? I mean, from what you cited, do you think this is a good step in the right direction?
Thank you very much. I must admit, I thought of bringing a case of this nature against the government for breach of the Constitution.
Oh.
So when I saw this particular writ, I really welcome it. And I'm so glad that a group of competent people, I mean, if you look at the writ, it's so well written that it melts my heart. You see, breaching the Constitution is a very fundamental issue, and we shouldn't take it lightly, regardless of the reason why it is breached. Breach should be taken as a serious fundamental, especially as I said earlier, this is a repeated offender. In the Margaret Bamford and Nana B case, the court made it clear about the application of Article 75. One would have thought that the second coming of John Mahama, he would avoid breaching the Constitution. And it is the same article he has gone to breach. It's like he has just taken a cavalier attitude to the Constitution. But the Constitution is a fundamental law of the land. We ought to have regards to it. There is a lot in the writ, but let me just pick on two issues that I can help. Let me try and see what I can help educate the public, because I've been teaching in that aspect of the law at least for the past 2 years at the UPSA, and I've taught it also in Kameri. So throughout the world, countries are basically divided into two systems when it comes to the application of international law to the municipal level. So we have what we call the muni-state, and then we have the dualist state. So the muni-states are countries like France, Germany, and other civil law countries. When the president signs international treaty, or let me put it, the executives, because it empowers the foreign minister to sign on behalf of Ghana, or people that the president will give something to them called people with full powers. They can sign on behalf of the country. So in a money state, usually they will have the opportunity to debate the treaty. So once the president signs, it is incorporated in the municipal law, or something we generally call the domestic law. There's no need to do anything. But as I said, there are other states called the dualist states, which is embraced by common law countries, such as Britain, Canada, United States, Jamaica, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Ghana as well. So if you look at the wording of Article 75, it embraces what we call the dualist state. The president plays a role, and parliament plays a role. So if you look at the first part of Article 75, it allows the president to execute international agreements, but they cannot impose obligations on the state or give rights to people or form part of our domestic law until Parliament ratifies them. So even if in the absence of Article 75, or if it is the absence of the Constitution, as they have in the United Kingdom, you may still breach it because they know they are a dualist state. Now, if you look at the Vienna Convention in Law of Treaties, it defines what a treaty is. They say they are international agreement. And when you go subsequently, the nature of this agreement is recognized by international law to impose obligations on states or give rights to certain people. For example, the human rights law. This is why they say states have personalities, even though some organizations might have personalities. But generally, international law recognizes states to have international personality. Now, the wording of what constitutes a treaty usually exclude memorandum of association, because memorandum of associations, they are preparatory work. If it is purely a memorandum of association, it may not require parliamentary ratification. But if you look at this memorandum of understanding, even though we haven't seen it, but we can feel the impact. The impact is that it imposes obligations on Ghana, because we are asked to receive foreign deportees. And it also gives rise to people, because it allows those people to enter. So that is a form of a right. If that were to happen, you can no longer say this is a memorandum of understanding. It's a memorandum of understanding abuse. It is used as a treaty. And if that is the case, Article 75 of the 1992 Constitution kicked in. The executive do not have power to do that. You can execute it, but they cannot arrive in our country until Parliament ratify it. And you have the majority in Parliament. You could have achieved it. So basically what they are doing is that They are trying to avoid publicity because this is not a good deal. That is why they did it. And to add insult to injuries, the minister from onset had been very, very dishonest. He made it clear that there was nothing exchanged. They did it on purely humanitarian grounds, on people who are already our fellow West Africans. And that the president also added that under the ECOWAS protocol, those people already have the right to enter Ghana. And I disagree with the president. The president is wrong. Under the ECOWAS protocol, ECOWAS citizens have no unfettered rights to Ghana. It gives them right, but it is not unfettered. We still have to decide who can come in and who cannot come in under the 90 days rule or under the settlement rule. If your presence in Ghana is not conducive for the public good, we still reserve the right under the protocol to say you are not welcome. If we can assess that you will stay more than the 90 days and you will refuse to leave, we can say no. Here is a case they are in America in violation of a visa. So these people we can easily conclude that they can easily violate the 90 days rule because they have offended in another country. So they don't have unfettered access, the way they put it. And then later they say they have done it in African solidarity because we are one people. And for one Africa. If the law says let's dismantle the borders, I don't have a problem. I would embrace it. But did they do it under the African solidarity? The question would be, why first of all their home countries will not receive them? There's a reason. If you are going out to bring your children, your neighbor is home relaxing, playing games, and will not pick up their children, what is your responsibility to pick your neighbor's children from the school? If the neighbor is refusing, do you have that responsibility? And later, they give out more information. Oh, by the way, we try to transact business with America on a separate issue. And they brought it, okay, if you have to do it, you do this for us as well, and we factor in. What happened to the African solidarity? You have used your fellow African citizens as bargain chips. Tell the truth from the very beginning. And that is wrong. Under international law, there's something called retaliatory. Even though Nigeria might not be able to, perhaps they will not do anything direct, but future, they could do that to Ghanaian citizens. So for me, there's nothing about humanitarian ground. Come clean from the very beginning that you use them as part of bargain chips to do this. But whichever the case, there is a breach in the Constitution. And it's very interesting. In fact, I must admit that I wasn't thinking in the line of democratic hope in the second leg of their argument until they brought it forward. And I said, yes, I agree with them. What they are simply saying is that even if Parliament had ratified it, this agreement would have been unlawful under international law. And I agree with them. You know why? Those citizens who were in the United States, the foreign deportees, they allege that potentially they would torture them if they are sent back to their country. So usually a court would only allow deportation to a third country if there are guarantees that what they fear will not be meted out to them. Then we read this agreement, and from the very beginning we knew we were going to send them to their country. And under international law, torture is regarded as a jus cogens norms. One may ask, what is a jus cogens norm? Jus cogens norms are, according to the Vienna Convention of Law of Treaties, they are preemptory norms of the highest order that no country is allowed to derogate from. What it simply means is that torture is regarded as a jus cogens norm. It's what we call absolute right. You cannot torture under any circumstances. And if one found to have fear of being tortured if sent to another country, you are not allowed to enter into such an agreement under international law. And here is the case. They have agreed, they have signed a memorandum of understanding with them. So with jus cogens norms, Parliament could not even ratify it. You are not allowed to do that under international law. Both customary international law And the Torture Convention, Ghana is a party too. So I agree with them that they are not only abusing the constitution or violating it, even international law. Okay. They did not even uphold it. So I am glad they have brought it, and I would like to see how the court would deal with this particular issue. Because we have to remember that we are dealing with repeated offenders. So I'm not sure why you were thinking that it should have been put to bed by now. Because the impact is still there. And we are actually expecting more people, apparently, up to 40 people, isn't it? Some have already arrived, others will come. So I think they are, first of all, they try to restrain the government from continuing offending. If this was a listening government, isn't it time for them to say, look, let's go and talk to the Americans, let's stop this. We admit this was a mistake.
Do you have any idea how excited the same Ghanaians were when they heard that now they can go for their 5-year visa?
You mean the rich Ghanaians?
Well, I don't know about
not every Ghanaian.
I don't know about rich Ghanaians.
How many Ghanaians are going to the United States?
Not everybody who goes for visa is necessarily rich. I mean, there are average people like me who also can apply for a visa. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's got to be a trade-off when you're dealing with countries at some point anyway. And I'm saying that when you are governing a people, and perhaps for your research, maybe even be anecdotal, it may not be empirical. You get a sense that, look, a lot of Ghanaians are not happy. Those who want to travel, they are not happy that, look, now they can't go and apply for a 5-year visa. You're only entitled to 3 months. We all know the hustle and bustle everybody has to go through when they're applying for a visa. And so the 5-year multiple entry gives you another opportunity to go, come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the government says, look, you know what? You want to bring, they are Africans anyway, whether West African, Central, whatever. They're Africans anyway. You want to bring them here, no problem. It's just transit. They come here, cool off for a couple of days or weeks or months. And then
cool off. You detain them.
Go to where they're supposed to go. And I said, okay, let's do a quick co-pro.
Okay.
And you say you have a problem with it. Anyway, let me bring in Honorable.
Oh, you just punch holes into my argument. You don't allow me to respond. Let me clean it out.
No, I'm going to read. I'd rather read a message from a very good friend.
Okay.
And for me, this gentleman who sent us a message I think he's one of the solid communicators of the NDC. Okay. I've listened to him. He's been on my show several times. I think that the NDC must be very happy to have him as one of their communicators. Yes, solid. I'm talking about Theophilus Jimega Jr.
Okay.
He's a mining engineer. And also a lawyer.
He's a friend.
Yes, a friend, your friend as well. Yes. Now he sends a message on this matter. He says that the Supreme Court has settled it that one cannot prevent a public body from performing its statutory duties by injunction, which is one of the things that the Democracy Hub are seeking. He continues to say, to that extent, the injunction will fail. Now, to add to why a lot of the deportees won't go to their countries, several persons have fraudulently obtained Ghanaian passports, and they are not Ghanaians.
But this is not what we are talking about. They are not claiming to be Ghanaians holding Ghanaian passports. So what's his point?
Okay. So Theophilus, I cannot hold brief for you. So he says he wants to know what exactly your point is when you say that a lot of deportees won't go to their countries. Several persons have fraudulently obtained Ghanaian passports, and they are not Ghanaians.
Yes.
So what he's saying is that, well, I guess he's saying that there are persons who are living in this country. They are not Ghanaians, but they have Ghanaian passports.
Yeah, but those we are talking about these deportees.
No, they are with. No, he's saying that those they are criminals to Andy. They are with us. And so if somebody says, as for me, I'm not Ghanaian, but I'm just here to transit from
so
Ghana
with
to another
Theophilus,
and you say that's
so to Theophilus, his principle is that we have to be consistently wrong to be right. Okay. Is that what he meant?
That's a valid point.
That is this NDC argument. We can understand them.
Let me bring in Seidu.
Well, thank you so much.
Do you prefer Seidu or Cletus? Any is fine. Okay.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Because what I want to say is that Ghana is being touted as a beacon of democracy in West Africa and Africa continent. and we ought to understand what democracy means. So for me, it is just not for nothing that we've been touted as a beacon of democracy. We ought to be, because we are able to adhere to good human rights principles. We try our best to ensure that at least, we adhere to diplomatic, how will I put it, protocols and treaties that we subscribe to. Moreover, like Theophilus said, there is no way the Supreme Court will want to put an injunction on any arm of government from performing its duty, particularly the executives. Normally, I've just shared with you some treaties and agreements that were being entered to, some way back 2017, when the MPP were in power. They signed these treaties based on the same Article 75. Will you believe that some of those treaties, it was just in July that we rectified them?
Really?
Yes, I'm telling you. Treaties that they entered into. I've shared some with you.
You mean under the same Article 75?
Under the same Article 75.
So?
The Foreign Affairs Minister, who has been Foreign Affairs Minister for a very long time. I've shared some with you, and I'll share with my brother. Way back September 2017, that they entered into some agreement. Just July 2025, that our committee, the Honorable Ablakwa, brought it for us to discuss and send a report to Parliament for ratification, which we did. So I just want to say that those MOUs that you are talking about, look, a Foreign Affairs Minister or a state executive duty bearer cannot wait to go to Parliament, okay, before he comes to sign some of these MOUs. Then he has no business being there. We have elected people or appointed people to take decisions on behalf of the government. So you cannot go and then have an issue to deal with. Then you said that, or you say that I'm waiting to go to Parliament first before I come to take the decision. Then you don't know what you are doing as the #1 diplomat for this country. The Honorable Ablakwa has not acted in any bad faith. He took decisions that will inure to the benefit of this country. And that is what he has done. People can do the bad politics of it. We can do the politics of it to make the government look bad. But I'm telling you that this is not what can make the government look bad. All I just want to say is that there are so many treaties that Ministry of Foreign Affairs will enter into under the same Article 75 before they bring it for Parliament ratification. That is the point that I'm trying to make. So for me, these detainees that they are talking about, what is their offense? What's their offense? Some of them, they just overstay their visa. If they overstay their visa, that make them to be so criminal that Ghana cannot receive them. And why, like I said, why do we think that we are being touted as a beacon of democracy? These are the things we do to show the difference, that we understand democracy, we understand conventions, we understand these treaties, we understand diplomacy. And that is why we are being touted as the beacon of democracy. So people should understand that. So for me, democracy yes, they want to test the law, but like others are saying, this cannot, the Supreme Court will never injunct any government agency from performing its functions. They may at best direct that after taking this decision, do it this way. But the Supreme Court can never injunct the Minister of Foreign Affairs from taking this decision. Okay. I've shared with you four of them, four treaties that they entered to, some 2021, some 2022, that they never brought it for Parliament ratification until the Honorable Ablakwa came to office and brought it to our notice for ratification. So what the Honorable Ablakwa is saying is that, look, if any treaty, if any MOU that we entered into warrant Parliament ratification, we will do that. Okay. But this one does not need parliamentary approval. Why? What is the difficulty in bringing it to Parliament? We have the numbers, isn't it? Okay. We have the numbers. Even at the committee level, we are many. So there is no need. If it is something that actually warrants parliamentary approval, why not? He will bring it for us to rectify. But he's saying that under this one, based on the advice of the Attorney General in Cabinet, they discuss it holistically. And they realize that no, this one doesn't need it. So we will not waste our time by bringing it to Parliament.
Okay.
But if indeed it's something that needs parliamentary ratification, we will duly do that.
Okay.
So this one should not be a problem. Okay. But let's test the law. Democracy Hub can test the law. But for me, let's don't look at it that the current leadership is accepting criminals into the country. They are not criminals, like you said. We have Ghanaians too, sometimes who are being held or held hostage in other countries for overstaying their visas. Okay. So if those people were to be sent to some other countries, and they say no, will we be happy? Sometimes we cry foul when our citizens are being detained in other countries for some of these minor offenses. We are not happy about it. So why would we, not receive some Africans, for being repatriated to us? Okay. Why should we throw them away?
All right. So we have just a minute to go. Sorry, we have just a minute to go. Yeah. But this is how I want us to use that 1 minute. Okay. My producer has just given me an update on some developments. Now, it's not in direct relation to this. As for this one, we're done. Okay. Some other time we can always have a continuation. But let's use this 1 minute in this way. Now, he says that the CD appreciates. Yes. Okay. And it also says that Gold Board PMMC, Gold Board generates $8 billion in foreign exchange for Ghana from small-scale gold exports alone. That's January to 15th of October 2025, and that's what it is. Those are the figures on your screen. Gold Board, small-scale gold exports by PMMC, Gold Board from January 2025 to 15th October 2025, and it's a gold assay and export, and you can see the data as we've just we're just presenting to you. We can't go through all of that, but I want to know, Bright. Yeah, good. So here's the thing. So this is today's daily exchange rates. Yeah. The dollar is selling for is actually being bought for 11.244, and it's selling for 11.255. What it means is that it's actually appreciated today. That's the pound sterling, and also the euros, as you can see it on your screens. But let me do this. So Theophilus is back. Let me just do this quickly. Your friend, Theophilus Jumegai, says that to clarify, several persons in jails in the UK and USA are not Ghanaians but hold our passports. Ghana accepts them and sees those persons. My good friend Ishak should address the injunction part. And Samuel Brian Boabing, and that's what I want to end with. He says, Moro, our monumental defeat cannot and should not be laid at the feet of one individual. Engaging in blame games serves no useful purpose. If there's blame to be shared, then responsibility must also be accepted collectively. As a party and as a government, we gave our utmost and our achievements remains evident for all to see. Yet, like any administration, we must acknowledge that some decisions were less than perfect. There's little value in lamenting the past. Our focus must now be on rebuilding and repositioning for the future. What we're witnessing today must not persist beyond 7 January 2029. Those who have ears, let them listen. Samuel Brian Boabing, former constituency officer and presidential staffer. All right, so thank you very much for watching. Good morning, Ghana. And my name is Alvin Moro. Thanks,
Enya victory garlic mixture na wati ni bina ati ni say na edro ni tie na no pasem ne say edro we adwuma enye titru pa ne say ebeboa ananna ne srade ewo ni badua ni muntin mu ama ohun atọ kura de di kan obabi wo ho a okonfikyire a ema edro ewu nya ye victory garlic mixture ebi kura ho bekọ a ewie wo ansa na ba eye victory e na wuhia wunya victory no ma na busumi biara ubenya ufikyira kwa empa ho kra eno de akira obi wo ho ani ti na tadwa no obi wo ho ye adwuma kakra bia no abre na nakoma bɔ ne periperi ni nyina ye mogya entimi mfa akoma no mu kwa adwen mu eno ne kofa saa de ne ba odofo mesrew so wo ho na wonsɛm ta adwew ebia wonsa no sei ana wonam ro mu na esi fom no kra adwew ana ayetofo sɛ de adi fom ato mpagoa mu a ɛyɛ victory ɛna me kan fama wo Unum victory as I know my boss way now. Ebejai, the auto one I do a winting in the winning victory. And from my young coupon, the Amaya say, what their own homia, now what tears so oh bra, a victory and a bit me a bow. You will be also o ana ne yam ahye no a obia na ne ka obia nya ne hwe obi wo so na koma bɔ ne peri ni nyina mogya ne ntimi ne afusane ye wo ni padua no